I mean, okay, so now we're coming up on the 1 week anniversary of the Trump administration. And this has been, I mean, it's been a whirlwind, which is okay. Ted is the right person to talk to about this because Ted and I have talked a lot about and love history, especially 20th century history, which is fascinating. The Nazis, when Hitler ascended to power and got the majority or got the control of the Reichstag, they pushed through a legislative package within 6 months that effectively obliterated any kind of democratic institutions in 1930s Germany, just within, and they did it quickly.
It was one law in particular called the Enabling Act.
Right. And we're coming up on that here. I mean, am I overreacting? Because I know that our friends on the left are, they've been saying Nazi, 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 Nazi for a long time. But this really does feel like, when you have over almost 200 executive orders, many of which are unconstitutional, clearly unconstitutional.
Examples include, obviously, the abolition of birthright citizenship.
Yeah, that's number one, because that's in the 14th Amendment.
The 14th Amendment, yeah.
I mean, it's right there. You can't miss it, folks.
Yeah.
But am I wrong here? Does it strike you the same way? Is it because getting something done, first of all, I'm impressed. I know you are, that they're doing it this quickly, this efficiently. I mean, they really did learn, contrary to type. Everyone, Donald Trump's an idiot. The people around him are morons. They learned that the last time in 2017, that when you come into office, you've got this window of about this much, and you better punch through it.
And political capital ages like a car being driven off the lot.
Exactly.
Am
I wrong?
You and I both predicted several times that they would do this, that he would have learned. And that clearly is the case. It's very impressive. I mean, can you imagine if, no matter who you are, if you had a president who had like a raft of promises that they had made and they raced to enact them as quickly as possible? I mean, that'd be amazing. Can you imagine like a Democrat doing something like that? I mean,
oh God, no.
FDR, but you have to go back to 1933. So it is very impressive. And, it's also, I will say, admirable in some ways that he followed through on some promises that would have been really easy to blow off. For example, he promised the libertarian movement that he would pardon the Silk Road guy, the cyber entrepreneur who designed that dark web website.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. What do you think of that? Because it sounds like, I mean, if you read it, and to my shame, I was unfamiliar until I read about it this morning, but it sounds like he's just a drug dealer.
I don't think he was a drug dealer personally. I think the analogy is better like the guys who designed Napster. Basically, he created this online marketplace. He knew what it was going to be used for. He doesn't appear to have personally been selling prostitutes or weapons or anything like that. But he was kind of like happy to let other people do it. And but he was sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms plus 40 years. So, pretty harsh sentence. So like he became a libertarian cause célèbre, which is this is more in your wheelhouse, Scott, about the whole libertarian thing. And you can, I don't think it takes a rich imagination to imagine why libertarians would have some sympathy for him. Although I'm surprised that it went all the way to this level. But I just want to say before, and I am interested in the topic, but it is interesting to me, Trump could have blown this off. I mean, he's not running again. The Libertarian Party is small.
You're going to have to walk that half a step back in a moment.
Well, okay. And so like, he could have just been like, this it's extreme. This guy, Ross, whatever his name is, he's like, whatever. It's like, I'm just going to blow this off. He could have gotten away with it, I think, but he right away out of the gate, bam, done. So anyway, you were saying.
Well, no, there is a congressman who is now proposing a constitutional amendment to go to the states. So allowing Donald Trump, he didn't say other presidents, but just allowing Donald Trump to run for re-election in 2028. Just saying.
But you would have to amend the Constitution.
That's what he said. Yeah.
But that would never pass. as you know.
We've said never. We said a lot of nevers before this day, Ted.
That's true. That's true. All right. So obviously, from what you've said, I do want to pursue this. Look, there's been obviously a blizzard of executive orders here. Pretty much affecting everything and everyone. There's all sorts of moves afoot to deploy the military to the southern border, mass deportations. There's already, on the positive side, in my view, there's been a move to arrange to meet with President Putin as quickly as possible to discuss bringing some peace negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. There seem to be some back channel pressures from the administration on the Israelis to try to tamp things down, although the Israelis seem to just simply have now turned, like as I predicted, now turning their attention to the West Bank. Now that Gaza is completely flattened. So I guess also, by the way, parenthetically,